Have you ever wondered why, no matter how hard you try, you just keep falling short? Maybe you set that alarm for 5 a.m., you map out these ambitious, detailed plans, and you swear to yourself, this time, it's going to be different. And yet, somehow, the results never seem to match the effort you pour in. Let me introduce you to Sam. Sam is probably a lot like you, and a lot like me. He's determined, he's hopeful, and he's always reaching for something better. But it feels like every attempt, at work, in his friendships, even with his own personal goals, ends in disappointment. The frustration builds, self-doubt starts to creep in, and this quiet, nagging fear whispers, "What if you're just not meant to succeed?" The sad truth is, most people never discover the real reason they're stuck. The question is, will Sam find the truth that changes everything? Each morning, Sam's alarm blares before the sun even thinks about rising, jolting him into another day of just relentless motion. He rushes through a quick shower, grabs a cup of coffee that always goes cold before he can finish it, and scribbles new tasks onto a to-do list that's already overflowing. To the outside world, he looks like a person in constant motion, meetings, deadlines, polite smiles. But inside, Sam's mind is a storm of unfinished thoughts and quiet, nagging doubts. By the time evening rolls around, his apartment is silent, except for the hum of unanswered messages on his phone. He sits there, alone, replaying the day's failures in his head, thinking about the words he wished he'd said, the goals he just missed. And the weight of regret settles in, getting a little heavier with each passing night. Sam's life has become a collection of almosts and not quites. He's watched colleagues get the promotions he worked tirelessly for, always coming up just a little short. And each time, he promises himself he'll just try harder, be better, but the cycle just repeats. He sets new goals, wake up earlier, exercise more, call old friends, but those promises seem to fade as the days blur together into one long struggle. His friendships have started to grow distant, the invitations slow down, and Sam finds himself wondering if people even notice his absence at all. The shame of falling behind just gnaws at him, especially when he scrolls through social media and sees everyone else celebrating milestones he can only dream of. He's tried everything. There are self-help books stacked on his nightstand, their pages underlined. He spent late nights planning, making endless lists and routines, but nothing seems to stick. The harder he pushes, the more elusive success becomes. And in those quiet moments, a terrifying question echoes in his mind. What if I am just not good enough? That fear is paralyzing, and the temptation to just give up grows stronger every single day. Most people never find that missing piece. Will Sam discover what's truly holding him back before it's too late? Desperate for a change, Sam starts turning to every source he can find. He asks friends for advice, hoping someone will say the magic words that finally unlock his potential. He devours self-help books, underlining passages that promise total transformation. And he spends hours watching motivational videos, just searching for a spark. But every answer feels like a bandage on a wound that just won't heal. Then one evening, after another day filled with small failures and that heavy, familiar silence, Sam finds himself at the door of Mrs. Rao, a wise mentor known for her gentle, profound insight. She welcomes him with a warm smile and just listens as he pours out all his frustrations. When he finally finishes, his voice trailing off, Mrs. Rao doesn't offer any quick solutions or snappy advice. Instead, she invites him for a slow walk through her garden. She suggests that sometimes the answer isn't about doing more, it's about seeing differently. As they stroll through the quiet garden, Mrs. Rao pauses beside a small withered plant. She gently lifts it from its pot and hands it to Sam. "Why do you think this plant isn't thriving?" she asks him. Sam studies the drooping leaves and the brittle stem, searching for an obvious answer. "Well, maybe it needs more water," he suggests, "or better soil, or maybe it's just not getting enough sunlight." Mrs. Rao smiles kindly. "You're focused on the symptoms," she says, "not the root." With careful, gentle hands, she loosens the soil around the base and reveals a dense mass of tangled, suffocated roots packed beneath the surface. No matter how much you water it or move it into the sun, she explains, it can't grow if the roots are trapped. In that moment, something just clicks for Sam. He sees his own life reflected in that struggling plant, always trying to fix what's visible on the surface, but never, ever looking deeper. The realization is both humbling and incredibly freeing. This one simple act reveals the truth that Sam, and so many of us, completely overlook. Real, lasting change begins below the surface, where no one else can see. Mrs. Rao looks at Sam with this deep, gentle understanding. Failure isn't a sign that you're not enough, she says softly. It's a signal that something deeper needs your attention, your beliefs about yourself, your sense of worth, your willingness to start again after you fall. She brushes the last of the soil from the plant's roots, her voice steady and calm. This is the one truth most people miss. Until you address the root, your mindset, and how you truly see yourself, you'll keep repeating the same patterns no matter how hard you try to change things on the surface. Sam listens, the weight of her words settling into his very core. Mrs. Rao encourages him, and by extension anyone listening, to look beyond the quick fixes. Ask yourself, she says, what's tangled beneath my surface? What old stories or fears are holding me back? Real growth, she tells him, starts when you finally decide to nurture your roots. Sam takes Mrs. Rao's lesson to heart. He starts small. He practices self-compassion when he stumbles instead of beating himself up. He starts to question the old limiting beliefs that once held him back. Instead of punishing himself for every single mistake, he now asks, okay, what can I learn from this? Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the cycle begins to shift. Setbacks no longer feel like final verdicts on his worth. They become stepping stones. Each one teaches him something new about himself, and with every small success, Sam's confidence grows. That heavy cloud of self-doubt that followed him everywhere begins to lift. The frantic, anxious rush of his days softens into a steady, quiet calm. He realizes that the journey was never about avoiding failure. It was about growing a little stronger, a little wiser, each time he did. In nurturing his own roots, Sam finally begins to thrive. Failure is not the end. It's a teacher, and it's gently pointing you toward the truth that lies just beneath the surface. So take a moment today to reflect on your own roots. What patterns keep repeating in your life? What truth might you be missing? If this story resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you would like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And please, share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story and your insights might be exactly what someone else needs to hear on their own journey. Thank you so much for watching.